Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Artica Jenkins Montgomery. I am the CEO of Exceeding Contentment Behavior Health Incorporated and the founder of Be Marie's Heart. And I just want to say thank you all for taking time out of your day to celebrate these two special organizations with me. Today marks 20 years of service with Exceeding Contentment Behavior Health and 3 years with V. Marie's Heart. I want you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy as we go down memory lane as we discuss these two organizations. After we finish, I'll be back for us to talk. So sit back and enjoy. And again, thank you all for coming. Once upon a time, there was a little baby who entered this world with absolutely no idea what life would bring her way. But as the saying goes, keep living. That journey led to the creation of the Jenkins Residence Incorporated, an organization built with the mission to serve at-risk youth in a group home setting. I began my career in social services working closely with youth. And as my education, life experiences, and exposure grew, so did my passion. In 2015, I made a life-changing decision. I didn't just want to continue the work, I wanted to expand the vision. I remember it like yesterday. I was sitting at dinner with a friend, searching for the perfect name, something that would truly capture what I believed in. And that's when God gave me the name, Exceeding Contentment Behavior Health Incorporated. I didn't want a traditional name. I wanted something that felt like an affirmation. I wanted to create a culture, a belief that if it was in the Lord's will, everyone connected to me would not only experience contentment, but overflow. An overflow of happiness, an overflow of joy, an overflow of love, self-esteem, and peace. And little did I know, that affirmation wasn't just for others. It will become the testimony of the agency itself. Because this agency did not begin in a building. It began with me, working long, tireless nights, traveling from home to home, serving families directly. I worked a full-time 8 to 5 job and then worked evenings pursuing my purpose. I drove from county to county, sometimes without heat, sometimes without air. But I love what I did. I love connecting with families. And truthfully, there was no overflow at that time. I was just trying to make ends meet. In the midst of building, life was still happening. My daughter was born in 2009. By 2010, I was divorced. In my 20s, I was raising a toddler, caring for 2 sick parents, and navigating life with very little support. But even in the middle of all that, I never let go of my belief in the importance of mental health. I showed up to every mental health fair I could. I passed out literature, even if it meant borrowing a printer, paper, and ink from family and friends. People poured into me the way they could. Some even donated decorations for my display tables. By 2016, both of my parents had passed away. And just a few months after losing my mother, I made one of the hardest decisions of my life. I decided it was time to fully step into my purpose. I didn't have savings. I didn't have stable childcare. I was grieving, and everything I once knew as normal was gone. But I had faith. A friend mentioned to me about an office space. Now, let me be honest. I had no money, bad credit, and no real plan. Just faith. And do you know, they gave me the opportunity and gave me the office space anyway. But what I didn't expect was for my contract work to decrease shortly after due to state funding changes. My rent fell behind, and at that moment, all I had left of value were my mother's wedding rings. Oh boy, did I cry. I had to pawn them. The owner of the pawn shop looked at me and said, "Please don't leave these here. They're so valuable." And they gave me more money than they normally would. That moment was nothing short of a miracle, because when I got my income tax check, it was just enough to get those rings back. And it was in that season of grief that something else was being born. Not just a business, but a legacy. My mother was more than a parent. She was love. She was strength. She was sacrifice. And even in her absence, her heart never left me. That's why I created V. Marie's Heart. Not just a nonprofit, but a living extension of who she was. A heart that gives. A heart that nurtures. A heart that shows up for people, especially in their most vulnerable moments. V. Marie's Heart was built to continue what she poured into me, to reach families, uplift communities, and remind people that even in the midst of pain, there is still purpose. So while tonight we celebrate 3 years of V. Marie's Heart, what we are really celebrating is a legacy that never stopped beating. I remember my first client, and then 10 more came the same month. I started in a one-room suite and eventually expanded into a larger space and then an even larger space. And that's when something else began to grow, my team. My director, Charlene Hollingsworth, started with me only making minimum wage, but she believed in the vision. And as the company grew, so did she. And now, here we are, 20 years later. So today, I stand before you. I'm not just celebrating 20 years of business. I'm not just celebrating 3 years of nonprofit. I'm celebrating survival. I'm celebrating obedience. I'm celebrating faith when there was no evidence. Because there were moments when I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to make it. But God did. There were moments when doors should have closed, but God kept opening them. There were moments when I felt alone, but I was never abandoned. And if my story proves anything, it's that you don't need the perfect conditions to walk in purpose. You just need permission from God and the courage to keep going. Now I want you to look at somebody near you and tell them, keep living. Because as long as you're still here, God is not finished. As long as you still have breath, there is still purpose. As long as you still have a heart, there is still something in you that the world needs. Exceeding Contentment Behavior Health was built on a belief that we just don't survive, we overflow. And V. Marie's Heart stand as a reminder that even in loss, even in grief, love still lives. So when people say nobody but God, please understand, Exceeding Contentment Behavior Health Incorporated is the poster child of that statement. So I leave you with this. If God can take a woman with no money, no stability, grieving, raising a child, driving from county to county, and build this, then there is absolutely nothing He cannot do in your life. This is more than a celebration. This is a testimony. This is a legacy. This is purpose in motion. I don't know who needs to hear this tonight, but your story is not over. Your breakthrough is not canceled, and your overflow is already on the way, and you are exceeding contentment.